Hey there folks, SpaceKev here. Unleash the Archers recorded this awesome sci-fi saga in 2011 called Demons of the Astrowaste. When I first heard the CD, I fell in love with the band, and I've been anxious to see them live. And I finally got a chance to when they came through town just recently in support of their EP, Defy the Skies. And boy, oh boy, was it a great live show. Well, I got to talk with them before the show, and this is what they had to say.
He will slaughter you all with We are Unleash the Archers, and this is
Black Wind Metal! Talk about the name Unleash the Archers.
Took us, we trying to think of a band name. We didn't want to just rush it and come up with something crappy, so we sat down, emailed back and forth for about 3 months, just, how about this name, how about this name, how about these 5 names? And at the end of 3 months, we had a list of, I think, 6 pages long of band names. Some were alright, and most were just absolutely garbage. But we narrowed it down to about 10, and then we sat down and had a vote on it. And we didn't pick any of those. And then about a week later, somebody came up with Unleash the Archers, and it stuck. And it was just, just collect right that. Somebody came up with Unleash the Arrows.
It was like Release the Archers, Unleash the Arrows, yeah, stuff like that. And then we just sort of put it together.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it's...
Group effort.
Yeah, we're...
The concept of Demons of the Astrowaste. I mean, it's a sci-fi epic, not typical fantasy that you might find. So, you guys want to touch upon your big CD?
Through the story, basically, I had like a sort of a summary of the whole story of the mercenary. I call him Lacey. He sort of was just a growing character in my mind, and he runs into the general. The general isn't like a main part of the story, it's all about Lacey, but the general was just one of his exploits. And so I just geared each song towards a part of the story depending on how the song made me feel when I listened to it. Like when we wrote The Outlander together, I knew exactly what that was going to be about and exactly the way I wanted it to feel, and so the lyrics were sort of already down in stone. But then something like Daughters of Winterstone, which was really hard for me to write to, and I was trying to figure out how that song and the way and the feelings that it inspired was going to fit into the story. Future past.
Future past.
It's all that matters.
Think big wooden ships flying through space.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
guys with swords fighting epic laser battles. It's just, I thought it was all about combining the past and the future. I'm a really big sci-fi fantasy fan. Like, I read a lot of sci-fi and I read a lot of fantasy, so I wanted to put them all together. And we didn't want this album to just be another bunch of songs put together, so I figured we'd write a little story for it. And we had like the first 3 songs, I think, and that sort of directed the way the story went. And then a lot of, I don't know, I like to tell stories, and we'll write the guitar riffs. And then
most of the songs on that record started out with, I'd write it sort of basically a song, guitar, and then sort of give it to Scott and the rest of the band, and Scott would write his drum parts around and stuff like that. Except for Outlander started with Brittany writing a vocal part, and I wrote guitar around that, and Despair was just a bunch of parts that Scott wrote on drums, and then I had to sort of arrange them together and write guitar around that as well.
General of the Dark. We put out an Indiegogo campaign asking for $1,900, with which we were going to rent a camera. I think it's called the Red camera.
I know about that, yeah. That's an expensive camera, so...
Apparently the camera and see your face.
Yeah.
It's the same camera they filmed The Hobbit with.
And Lord of the Rings and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So they, the Talbot brothers were the ones that we hired to do it, and they cost quite a bit of money, so that's why we petitioned to the fans to help us out, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to do it. We would have just been using the same camera from Dawn of Ages, which is good. It's a good camera, but not quite as good. And then we hired Richard Olak from Brotherhood, and he was the director, and he did so much for us. He put everything together. He kept our heads on straight. He organized everything down to the shoot. So he was amazing.
Strong guy too. I thought he would have had a mental breakdown by the end.
Awesome.
Yeah. He did everything.
Absolutely. Plug Battle of Burgledorf too. It's this like indie movie that he's been making for the last like 4 years, and he actually originally approached us wanting music for it, and then we kind of did a tradesy, so like that's how it all kind of got underway.
Yeah.
So there's going to be our music on that movie as well.
Yeah.
Battle of Burgledorf.
Is this going to be something with new material or stuff that's already been done?
Both. Actually, I think there's gonna be some Brady D originals on there as well.
I've been writing some stuff for that hooker.
Talk about the EP a
We
little.
were all in the studio in, actually I think at beginning of June, right, end of May. So basically the EP is the beginning of the new direction that we're taking with our music, and we love to constantly change our sound and play with other genres and things that we're listening to at the time, putting that into our music. So the EP isn't a new album in the sense that we're going to sit down and write a new album over the winter, but it's a taste of the new stuff that we were writing. We wanted to get it out there, we wanted the fans to be able to hear it, and we wanted to print on vinyl, which is very restrictive for time, length of songs, things like that. So we just took the 3 songs that we were happy with and put them out.
Album's on vinyl, but it comes with a download card, so you don't have to worry about if you don't actually own a record player. It makes kick-ass waller.
I think in the past we've sort of just mishmashed the two and mishmashed all these genres that influence us, and now we've sort of taken a more power metal stance and we're integrating the heavier stuff into it in a more a way that makes more sense, and we sort of found our sound and how to do that properly. And so the future stuff is gonna be definitely power metal based with these other things like sort of melded into it properly, not just mashed
Flares
in
and
there.
accents.
Yeah, flares and accents.
I always just run with modern power metal because it's modern. It has modern, like some aspects of the popular modern metal, but with a lot of like really classic heavy metal roots to it. So I felt like it was like modern power metal. And when I say that, people seem to get it. You know what I mean? They're not just like, what? They're like, okay, I understand where you come from. So that's my main goal. Or else you get in that stupid debate with people where they're, well, I don't know, it sounds a little, yeah, okay. Modern power metal.
Want to talk about the art?
First, it's JP Fournier. He lives in France and did all our art. We saw him from Dragon Force's Valley of the Damned is what we first contacted him, and we thought he'd kind of give us the blow off because a lot of artists did, and but he was totally happy to work with us, and kind of that first one was a little bit more like his control, and he just kind of did it and made it the way he wanted it, and we paid for it. And whereas the second one, we kind of came to him, and it was like a more of a interactive experience, and we got to sort of shape the art and then have him send it back and go through all that kind of what we wanted on the front and everything. And this third one was sort of just an economy thing, like we were like, we don't have much money and this is just an EP, like do you have anything that somebody else turned down? And he said, yeah, I've got this, and he sold it to us for super cheap, so we just kind of took it. And so I don't know, there's some band out there who had this for their album.
Already written upon Ashen Wings.
Yeah.
And he gave us that, and he's like, what about this? And we were just like,
yeah, he had a couple
perfect.
choices, and yeah, that one actually made a little bit of sense. And but we were so I don't know, I loved if some band one day did contact us and was like, hey, that was supposed to be our album.
I thought it was supposed to be like a Dragonlance cover or something.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. There was, it's tough to say, but either way, he's a great artist, and I think this is what I really love now that you look, especially at all 3 of our albums, like you said, they all have that really uniform feel, right? So it's and we've used the same logo in the same place every time, and hopefully, when we have some huge discography, it's all going to have this coherent feel throughout the whole thing, which is, sort of what we planned from day one.
Rules of the van. No eating certain types of food. Certain people.
I for sure love that rule.
Yeah, we don't have any rules.
No rules. Anything goes. As much as you want to fart, you can. Somebody will get you back in 10 minutes. No, the only one rule that's actually strictly enforced. Well, besides we evenly divide the driving. That's the big one. Like down to the half hour. Like everyone's punching in and punching out while they're driving. But the only other thing is like whoever's driving gets to control the stereo. But other than
Travels, do you hear familiar accents, or how does the accent of Minnesota stack up against where you're?
Minnesota is pretty moderate.
close.
Yeah, it's pretty the same as Canada.
Yeah.
We got, whenever we went down south, we didn't even notice it.
Yeah,
We'd be talking and they'd be laughing at us. And we're like, what?
you just said a boot.
Or they'd go to south and they'd laugh at us, and then we'd laugh at them because they'd be talking to us like, oh, y'all are saying that, and we'd be like, and then we just laugh at each other.
Canada, you get sort of shut down because of the snow in the mountains and stuff. You can't really.
Like the roads are made of ice, and you got to take a snowmobile to get anywhere.
I want to thank Unleash the Archers for taking time out of the day and talking with me, explaining to me the difference between a hippie and a hipster, giving me the lowdown about the downtown east side in Vancouver, Hastings Avenue. And I'd like to thank them for also signing a copy of Defy the Skies for me. They're a great live band, great music. Do yourself a favor and go check them out at unleashthearchers.com or facebook.com/unleashthearchers.